going on, guys? I am out here with Rudy, and Penny and I met up out here on some public, and we are in the cars. We're doing some driving around. We're kind of scouting some public pieces. Rudy and I put our heads together on this little chunk of ground, and we're going to scout it from the car, and he's going to go in from one side and I'm going to go in on the other. We've got a plan on how we want to break it down, and I'm freaking stoked. And I am just super stoked about the opportunity to be able to work together and break down some ground and learn faster. And this is some freaking juicy looking ground, dude. So Rudy's behind me. He's gonna go post up where him and Penny are going to look, and then we're gonna give it a little bit of time after daylight, and we're gonna dive in. It's gonna be a freaking awesome scout this morning. Appreciate you guys stopping and checking out the video. By the time you get this, I think you'll understand what's going on with the channel. It's gonna be a freaking awesome year with Rudy working together. It was just inevitable that our paths crossed and share the same values, and it just makes sense for us to do this. I just don't see any other way around it. So let me get off of here. We're almost to the spot, so we're gonna go post up and see if we can't find some bucks. Alright, so I just left Rudy, and our goal is to scout this big SMZ. There's a few landscape features, some elevation, but we're gonna pretty much scout the feeder creeks adjacent to the SMZ, so almost like little secondary SMZs. I think the goal is to look for some feed trees, find some deer in general, look for traditional historical sign. But a lot of the times I find the best sign, or the bucks, off those secondary feeders off of the main SMZ. So that's where I'm working my way in from the south, and Rudy's coming in from the east and working his way scouting pine plantation. So we're gonna meet up. It is super quiet in here, so everything's gonna hear me coming, but it's a pretty morning, that's for sure. This is right here along this creek. This is the first real thick vine patch I've come through, and it looks like there's an old bed up in there. Does look like it's getting used right now, but there's a trail coming right to it, and a couple of crossing trails. This could be like a rut bed. Buck would sit up here and catch some does working along this creek. And the trail goes out here. So I've been working up this SMZ on basically the secondary drains. I'm almost to the main drain, about 40 yards, and right here where there's some blowdowns and stuff, there's just a slight little open area with this old lemongrass. Stuff that just grows when the sunlight starts to hit the ground. And right here is just one of those spots where it's an X. Secondary drain meets the main drain. You've got this little point where it's just a spot where the sunlight's hitting the ground. There's a trail coming from this way. There's a trail coming from that way. There's a trail coming around here. And if you look, there's an old rub right there. There's an old rub right here. So this is one of those areas that maybe be like prime for a mock scrape. Seems like a natural corridor and a little pinch in between the secondary drain and the main drain. So we'll mark this, keep going, and I see what I want to see over here. Finally seeing some giant oaks over here. So let's start working our way towards Rudy. saw it branched off of those crisscrossing trails. Probably the first potential main feeding area I've seen in a good while. There's a couple of big red oaks right here and one big water oak, big sprawling water oak. A couple of red oaks that are real tall, but they're kind of thin. I'll try to get eyes on this water oak, see if we can see any acorns. Got a feeling we're getting close to something. Or at least we're getting into the better sign, the better habitat for sure. Haven't heard from Rudy. Don't know where he's at. Him and Penny are further down the drainage working the way towards me. Oh, there's a big swamp chestnut oak too. So we got swamp chestnut, red oak, water oak. I like it. So still running into some monster oaks, mostly red oaks. Definitely a giant mother oak right here. Just an absolute beauty. Yeah, look at all of the caps. And the acorns are just getting shredded in here right now. Right there. You can see actually an old rub right there. The acorns are getting demolished right here. I mean, look at all the trash. Snapped up acorns everywhere. You could probably come sit this tonight and see a deer, but it's not going to play out for us at the moment. Alright, so I dropped down into this creek because I kind of hit a transition where it got thick towards the creek. So I wanted to hop down in here because I noticed one of these little oxbows that there was a lot of greenery. There's a bunch of sea oats up here, and there's also a lot of this stuff that Rudy and I saw the other day, and that he actually pointed out. I believe it was called that elephant's ear, and it looks like it was, a lot of it's even starting to resprout. Doesn't look like they were here today, but you might find some hot scat, something like that. So I'm gonna slip down here and try to bump some deer. And I'm almost to the spot that we both sort of discussed being a prime spot, at least as far as the hub is concerned. So I ran into a little rub over there. But look at this thing. This thing, I'm 6'5", and this thing is almost up to my belly button. This limb up here was probably broke off from rubbing. Looks like there could have been, this is an old holly tree. It's not old. There's just no limbs on it, because I'm thinking this could be a good licking tree too. You can see how this one's broke off and that one's hanging. But he absolutely ripped into this tree all the way down. The direction of the rub is going this way for the most part. There's another little tink, and he tickled it right there. What's wrong with this thing? Yep, right there. With that sucker right there. is a dang good rub. One of the better ones I've seen in a good while. So, and I think the location of this rub tells me we're in the thermal game right here, where this buck is. This is nothing but a thermal catch. I got distracted by that big old rub, but I was just talking about how this is a spot for thermals that Rudy and I was looking at. And look at there. Wouldn't those Beast Form members be proud? It's a big balloon. Keep working towards Rudy. Luckily the sign's going this way too, so. See, look at there. I just learned something new today, bro. Follow a rub line, you find a Rudy.
You find that big buck.
Go out and go
Nah.
out to the public land and find the next one.
No, but I was walking like rubs. I think I crossed the creek, same place y'all did.
Yeah.
And then rub, and then like I kind of saw a rub up ahead. That's where I stopped back there for a second.
I followed a rub line the whole way.
Then I looked over here and I was like,
There's a bed right there you just walk through.
you want to follow over there in that little cluster?
What we'll do is we'll back up. I'll show you the bed, and you can kind of show the view from what he sees. Did you walk through that big oak flat?
Yeah.
It's pretty badass.
Yeah, that's very nice.
There's beds right in the middle of it.
Yeah. You can see, well, it had all that moss down there. I was like, man, this has got to be cool on the belly too.
Yeah.
You know?
So that one bed has a trail coming out. I mean, she's using it a lot, and it goes right through the thicket, and there's bed.
Yeah.
The whole way. And I was like, Penny, look, there's another bed, there's another bed, there's another bed. When I quit checking, I just kept walking.
I didn't see no poop. Didn't you say you found some poop back
right
there? Oh,
we
back
got
here?
some really fresh poop. They're both fresh.
Like super fresh.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we hang a camera this spot, specifically because there's a buck rub transition here at a T, because he's got rubs going that way,
Yeah.
and that way, but it's not going to be here. Reason being, there's a pecan tree dropping.
Oh, really?
And there's buck bed right on top of it, and his freaking tracks are like
Right at the edge
3.5
over there.
of my fingers.
Damn.
And
And it's right
Find
at
any
the edge
busted
of
up
that
pecans and stuff? Like pecans on the
there's
ground?
not
or what?
enough shells or anything.
Oh,
like,
yeah?
They're gone.
creek. Yeah, I found one, but it wasn't super fresh.
But that don't mean the pigs ain't coming in behind them or anything. I don't know. Most of the pig sign I saw was over there, and that's the most pig sign I've ever seen out here. This is bed. And your trail goes back. So there's another rub. Where was it, bed? Right over here. And this is the trail they're using in here. There's another rub right over here somewhere. There's the lay down.
Probably facing this way.
Here. So he's getting in here.
Yeah, you
And
can
he's
see this
tucked
trail.
up.
That was the trail I crossed over.
Browse down all this so we can see back, thick, bed, exit, watching all this, watching this. Imagine if the wind's coming. So if he's here laying down using this little tree as cover.
Did you find any hair down there?
Nah, nothing recent, but you can see all his tracks that were in here. You know what I mean?
Well, you can see how on this
If
side.
there's muscadines in here,
Yeah.
he's literally eating the food as it falls in front of his face.
And you can see how this side, these leaves over here,
So,
are there's like a little
pushed.
push back right here,
yeah.
right up against that little lemongrass
So-
right there.
A south wind, he's watching. That makes sense. Because look, in this bed, get in this bed. He can see. Get in here and I'm going to
Out
show
that
you.
way.
Yeah. So this is really pressed too. Like I wouldn't
Yeah.
doubt it. He moves around. But I really like this spot because it just makes sense theoretically. It's in the corner where the pine plantation meets the hardwood bottom.
Yeah.
Got a transition line going back. There's a rub right outside of the exit. We got more rubs on the backside coming from the creek up. We got the creek side as exit. He can hear anybody coming. I can hear you from over there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so
I was waiting to see.
Just imagine what they can
How
hear.
long you would, I figured as soon as you heard me, you'd let me know. So.
Oh, yeah. I told her, I said,
So
I was like, I hear Seth coming.
Yeah, and I was probably
You were still way out there.
100.
But look at his exit, dude.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can see it for sure.
I mean,
It's littered with all these little muscadines.
But I mean,
That's
why would
funny.
he have to leave this?
And it's funny,
It's
like,
close to water. It's close to food. He's got corn down the way. What? How many yards is it over there? It's far, but I mean, they walk that far pretty easily at night,
yeah.
especially with this full moon. So yeah, he's in here eating muscadines.
And what's cool is when you look at this from an aerial perspective, you could drop a pin within 100 yards of here, and this is pretty much where he was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right off this point, right off that.
Well, we both looked at
The
it.
point
We
in that
both
corner.
marked it. We both suspected betting off the point, or at least a good hub. There's no way that you have two transition lines that meet together, and there's no way there's not some sort of bed, scrape, rub, trail. And this is, to me, because of all the rubs that led into here. This may not be his only bedding area, but we just got to play out what bedding area.
So with the combination of so many things coming together, on the edge of the transition, suspected bedding area, some feeding signs, some fresh tracks, we felt like we were getting really close. We even found some old scrapes, and I took the liberty, based on the recent scrape kit video, to blow these scrapes up and see if we can't get some of these bucks on camera. The only thing left to do is to figure out how we're going to access this area, as Rudy and I both agree that access is going to be key, whether we're team hunting it or going in solo. But make no mistake about it, looks like it's going to be an awesome season for us. Thank you guys for stopping and checking out the video.